How's it going, NPL fans? My name's Heracrossnite, and I am your host for this week's Sets of the Week, Week 8 and Week 9 for Season 5 of the NPL. And today I am alone because my usual co-host, Mr. Dave Fernape, my good buddy Dave, he was feeling a little bit under the weather, so he was not able to help me, which is totally fine. I get it. So Dave, I just wish you get well soon, buddy, so you can join me next week for Sets of the Week. Yeah. So in this edition, we are going to be bringing you a mixture of sets from Week 8 and Week 9, two very, very good weeks. I highly advise you to go check them out if you haven't already. We had a 6-0, which is something that's very, very hard to happen in a league with the level of skill and level of play that the NPL has. We had we had the battle of the season up until this point. We had some heat whack-ass sets, as we always have. We had returning coaches just putting in the finest of work and showing that NPL's just has so much skill in it. Even when they're away, they just come back, and in that same week they put in the finest of work. So I definitely advise you guys to go over to the NPL channel and to check out either the playlist or go to each and individual coaches, drop them a subscription, because you do not want to lose any battle from any week of the NPL. Now I'm just gonna stop wasting you guys time and we'll go straight into the sets. So at the number 5 spot, we have Mega Diancie holding the Diancie, obviously with the Magic Bounce ability, the Quiet Nature with 252 in HP, 252 in Special Attack, 4 in Defense. Now you might be thinking, why does Mega Diancie run as Quiet Nature? Its best stats probably its speed. Well, this is a Trick Room Diancie with Moonblast, Diamond Storm, and Earth Power. Very, very good coverage for Cheese Boy's entire team. And Trick Room, yes, Mega Diancie running Trick Room. Now, when you think of Mega Diancie, you just think standard sets, max speed, just hit as hard as possible and as fast as you can, which Mega Diancie is extremely good at doing that, don't get me wrong. But this week we had a Trick Room Diancie, which is absolutely fantastic to see. It had a lot of Trick Room support from stuff like Victini and Cresselia, and it did an enormous amount of work onto Cheeseboy team. Although it did get 2 boosts from Diamond Storm, 2 defense boosts, which allowed it to just put in so much more work than it would otherwise, probably. It was still a very, very cool set to see being brought. I would have thought of a more bulky set to maybe take on Talonflame, although he did have Rhyperior, but definitely Trick Room Diancie would not be something that would be on my mind, because comparing the two teams, Abe's team is actually pretty fast. It has Victini, Raikou, it has Mega Diancie on its own, is very, very fast, so naturally it would outspeed Cheeseboy team. So that was something very, very interesting to see as well. He would have to bank on stuff like him bringing Scarf Cure him and such, but it was a risk that definitely paid off for Abe, and this was a great set to see. And in the end of the battle, it did put in a tremendous performance. So very nice and very well thought set to bring by Aberforth. Just amazing. Trick Room Diancie, honestly, very, very interesting and very, very cool to see. At the number 4th spot, we have Garchomp, who was built by Togevar, and over the past couple of weeks and since the start of the season, you can definitely see that Togevar definitely knows how to use a Garchomp. This is a Sandville Garchomp with an Impish Nature, Salac Berry, Max Defense, Max Speed, 4 in HP, Dragon Claw, Substitute, Swords Dance, and Earthquake. When you think of the nature and when you think of the EV's distribution and then the moveset, you're like, why would he run Salac Berry with an Impish Nature, Max Defense with a Substitute Swords Dance set? Well, it's very, very interesting indeed. Dragon Claw and Earthquake, pretty much perfect coverage. You didn't need any other coverage move. The defense investment with an Impish Nature is very, very interesting, because that means that he could set up substitutes on stuff way more easier and could set up behind the substitute, because things would have a lot harder time to break his subs. And the Salac Berry just allowed him to outspeed the Mega Charizard without any boosts. Allowed to outspeed a big portion of his opponent's team, of Trev's team, and it did end up putting the finest of work. I think it actually got the sweep, which is very, very interesting to see a defensive Garchomp getting a sweep. But as I said, it was a defensive set, so it could set up easier, and Togevar definitely has shown us that he can use a Garchomp to the fullest of its potential. Not the first time he brings Sub Salac, but when he brings it, it puts in the amount of work that it needs to. You'd think that it would be a kind of predictable by now, but Toge just knows how to pick the weak where it would do best, and he can actually put in a very nice amount of work with Sub Salak Berry, Garchomp. It's a very good set with SD especially, but in this case he didn't need the SD. He just got the sweep without any boost in attack, which is very interesting. I love to see the impish nature with a substitute. The thought put it behind it so he could set up more easily. That was just on point, and congratulations Toge, because that set was fire. But wait, number 1 set this week, oh my god, you have never seen anything like that, so stick around. Next up we have the number 3 Mon. We have Mew, built by Gypsy, and the Sydney Sharpedos with a bold nature, 252 in HP, 252 in defense, and 4 in special defense. Moveset of Flamethrower, Psychic, Calm Mind, and Roost. Very good set to bring against Maddie's team, because Maddie's team is very balanced, but he doesn't have the most Psychic resists. He has Mega Gardevoir, he has Shiftry, and he has Registeel to deal with Psychic types. But Registeel and Shiftry get hit by Flamethrower, so after a Calm Mind boosts, he could definitely kill the Registeel. He wouldn't really want to stay on a Shiftry because Dark is good against Psychic, no shit. But this set was probably one of the main reasons for him to actually win the game against Maddie, because in the late game it's very important, because after Tauros Choice Band got knocked off, Mew could just pretty much 1v1 it. It picked up a kill on Infernape, which was very nice as well. Picked up the kill in Tauros. So late game it was definitely a big win condition for Gypsy, and Gypsy made some plays like only Gypsy knows how, and he definitely turned the match back into his favor, and then Mew from there just kind of won because Maddie's team was very worn down, didn't really have much to deal with the Mew. So after some previous damage in the late game, as I said, Mew was probably the reason why Gypsy won the battle of the season up until this point. You guys have to go check it out. Between the undefeated teams, if you haven't already, I don't know what you are doing here. I don't know what you're doing with your life either. Definitely go check it out. Go either to Gypsy's channel or Maddie's channel or the NPL playlist. Go check it out, and you will see the amount of work that this Mew put in. And just hearing Gypsy's explanation, Gypsy can explain way better than I would ever be able to. So definitely go check that out. But I just wanted to show you guys that this Mew was definitely a great set in the late game. Probably why Gypsy won that match. Spoilers if you didn't know already, then sorry, but I just spoiled it for you. Congrats to Gypsy for being the only remaining undefeated team as well. Next up at the second spot, we have the Mega Latias with a Levitate ability, Timid Nature, 4 in HP, max special attack, and max speed, Calm Mind, Roost, Shadow Ball, and Dragon Pulse, and it was brought and made by Razor, coach of the New York Metangs, who is back. By the way, welcome back, Razor. And what a way to just announce your return. He got a sweep with this Mega Latias against none other than Danza, probably one of the best League players in existence. But the set was Calm Mind, Roost, Shadow Ball, and Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse as the main stab because he didn't really need the Psychic stab. Shadow Ball was to hit Reuniclus the hardest because Danza does like to bring the Assault Vest for Reuniclus. So with Dragon Pulse that could be a little bit tedious, and he could potentially hinder the sweep with a Toxic or with a Shadow Ball back to him. So after Volcanion killed one of his mons, he brought it in on the Volcanion, set up a Calm Mind. Mega Aggron went for the Sleep Talk, did not get the Dragon Tail, and from there it was just game because Mega Latias doing what it does best. After it gets one Calm Mind up, then there's not really much you can do. After that, it was just picking sacks. And eventually Razor did end up winning the game. It was a very nice game. Razor he got the 5-0, Mega Lati getting all the kills if I am not mistaken. And that's cool. Razor definitely knows how to use Mega Latias as well, because he has been putting some it's not the first time that's here on Sets of the Week. He's been putting in a pretty decent performance. So congratulations to Razor and welcome back, man. For the top set of this week, of this edition of Sets of the Week, we have Porygon 2, who was built by Togevar, and Togevar, my man, this is an absolutely amazing set. It has the download ability Jelly Nature, holding the Eviolite, max HP, 44 in special defense, and 216 in speed, substitute, recover, sharpen, and return. And I'll tell you why this is beautiful. This is a Porygon 2, and Porygon 2 just sits on the field, spreads status around, gets some tip damage, tank hits from both sides, recover, stall a little bit, and switch out so other stuff can do offensive things. Not this Porygon 2. This Porygon 2 has a natural ability of actually dealing damage to others. Substitute with max HP is so that things like passive things from the Tauros team, like Seismitoad or Tangrowth, have a hard time breaking Porygon's substitute, so that way he can get some sharpens up. And what sharpen does, it ups your attack by 1, so he gets it up on stuff like the Tangrowth and the Seismitoad. Recover if he took damage from substitute, because he's not getting the passive recovery from leftovers. And then return, he doesn't really the Tauros team doesn't really have a lot of normal resist. Has Mega Scizor and not much else, so definitely normal spam against this team is very good, and the boost from sharpens just makes it so much more effective. You don't often see a setup Porygon 2. I mean, you never see a setup Porygon 2, and the only reason that this thing didn't get the full sweep was because it got hacked by a Dark Pulse crit flinch from a Greninja, if I am not mistaken. But it definitely opened the path so that other stuff on Toge's team, like the Mega Pidgeot, could just come in and win from there. So even though it was unfortunate he did get axed, this set still is worthy to be #1 spot for this week, because it's just something that you do not see, and just something that it's so out there, so out of the box, that you just see and your mind is blown away, like mine was when I was actually watching the match. So congratulations to Togovar. You had 2 sets on this, and if you keep on bringing these Porygon 2 sets, then you will definitely be on every single edition of this, because it's absolutely insane. Something that's supposed to be a wall, just set up, sharpens, and return with substitute and recover. Just imagine Diancie getting like 3 kills from setting up, not from countering and seismic tossing stuff. That's just insane to think about. So congratulations to Togovar for this amazing set. And yeah, I think that will be it for this edition of Sets of the Week. Sorry if I am alone, if I ramble a lot, and if I say stuff that probably are not English, but hey, just deal with me. Just deal with me. So I hope you guys enjoy this edition. Hopefully you can leave a like down below. You can subscribe to the NPL channel if you haven't, to keep up with everything. Weekly recaps, game of the week, you definitely do not want to miss any of those. And go over and subscribe to the coaches if you aren't. Go subscribe to everyone, because you don't really want to lose any match from this. And go ahead and subscribe to me if you are interested in possibly the content that I have. And yeah, that will do it for this week. I hope to see you all in next week, and thank you guys for checking out the video. Peace.